Puffs. After redesigning the Powerpuff Girls, one question kept showing up. Where are the RowdyRuff Boys? Well, they're finally here. You guys have been asking for this redesign for so long, and after way too much procrastination, I finally finished Brick, Boomer, and Butch in my style. So let's take a look at how they turned out. Starting with Brick, I think he is the character I had the clearest vision from for the beginning. When I redesigned the Powerpuff Girls, I already knew that if I ever redesigned the RowdyRuff Boys, they would be the complete opposite, and I wanted his personality to be strong. Even if you never watch the show, you can usually tell that Brick is supposed to be the leader. He's loud and confident and competitive and honestly a little full of himself. So when I started redesigning him, my first question was, what should he wear? And I was like, how do I make someone look like Brick before they even speak? Because that's something I think about a lot when designing characters. I love when you can look at a character and immediately get a sense of who they are. I don't want people to need a paragraph of lore to understand the vibe. I want the design to tell a story itself. For Brick, that story was confidence, almost too much confidence. The kind of confidence to where he thinks that he's the smartest person in the room, even when he isn't. I wanted him to look a little older than his original design, but with more detail and more believable in my art style. One thing I kept asking myself throughout the redesign was what were parts of Brick that made him recognizable. Because he is technically the boy version of Blossom, he is the opposite of her. Meaning if I changed too much, nobody would really recognize him. So I tried to find like a middle ground while still making him look tough. I wanted people to completely know it was Brick while also feeling like they were seeing him through my artistic eyes. I also wanted him to have a lot of detailing, which is why I did the tattoos, because I thought they looked cool. There were moments where I would stare at the drawing and I have to move like certain things, but I was happy because I think all of those small changes added up, and for the final result, I think he became exactly what I wanted him to be, and that was recognizable, intimidating, confident, and unmistakably Brick. I love the whole like Mojo Dojo being their dad and stuff. I think him and Blossom are like my favorite ship. So when I had designed him, I was thinking about the ship, and I really love how this came out. The tattoos, I was actually going back and forth with it because I wanted them to have more of a teenage vibe without making them look too old. So I decided to lean into it and give it a chance. But I also wanted to add a little bit of like graffiti, streetwear kind of thing, especially in the background. But yeah, here's Brick. Next up was Butch. Because I already had a feeling he was going to be one of my favorite RowdyRuff Boys to redesign, he just like really stood out to me. And there was something about his personality that really made it fun to work with as an artist. When I think of Butch, I don't think of a character who's trying to be intimidating. I think of him as someone who's just naturally intimidating, like Buttercup, and I genuinely think he does not care what people think. And that was the main idea I wanted to stick with when I was building his redesign. If like Brick is the leader and Boomer is like the more relaxed brother, I think Butch is the one that's like the chaotic, rowdy one who really like sets the tone of the group. And when I was drawing him, I just really wanted to push that vibe onto his character, which is why I did a lot of blacks and I did a lot of dark greens. His design to me was honestly cool. It gave all muscle and it gave power and intimidation. So yeah, here's Butch. And finally, last but not least, is Boomer. Now, the same way I had a great time doing Bubbles, I actually had the worst time doing Boomer. I was starting to feel the art block because his character, to me, the way I drew him was a bit more simpler, because honestly, I wanted him to still be part of the group, but without him being overshadowed or intimidated by like the other two. So I want to really make sure his personality is shown through the art. So I made his blues a bit darker because at first his blues to me were too light, so I changed it again. But I still wanted him to, you know, have that same vibe as his brothers. And that is it for my RowdyRuff Boys redesign. This project took way longer than it should have, but I'm so happy I finally finished it after all the requests from you guys. A huge thanks to everyone who watched my Powerpuff Girls redesign video and asked for this follow-up video. I just want to know, who's your favorite? Brick, Boomer, Butch? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to tell me what character I should redesign next. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you Mochi Pups in the next video. Bye guys!